Sorry?
It sounds like I'm not too far away. Good?
Yeah, you're good. Just don't sound like such a pedophile. All right. Welcome to the can opener. It is a Wednesday afternoon. It is August 1st.
Brand new month. Yeah.
Everyone check your horoscopes. I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Pisces.
You're a Pisces?
Yeah.
What is a Pisces? What are the attributes of a Pisces?
Super caring.
Oh, yeah, you are a sweet guy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no,
Thanks,
the horoscope's sometimes bullshit, but sometimes it's on.
Yeah. Also, just really emotional. That's what I've heard.
So you're a
Pisces.
bitch too. Yeah, you kind of are a little bitch. No, I get it. Everybody has their sides. The Gemini, two sides. That's all I know about a Gemini. Do you know who you match well with?
No, not at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, I don't look too much into astrology. I just find it a lot of it's bullshit, in my opinion.
And
but,
me too. And it's hard when you go out for dates with girls and they talk about astrology. And it's like,
so you've been in that situation.
Yeah.
That's that's
I don't make a
interesting.
joke of it, but I feel like I want to. You know what I mean? Yo, we need to turn this fan off. Anyways, so you were talking about being...
Sorry.
Oh my god, I'm tripping out, bro. You were talking about the changes you've went through moving out on your own.
Yes.
Being a lone man. I'm talking about sharing the same bed with someone. Because you moved
Sharing
out
the-
with your girlfriend.
Yes, I did.
So what are the changes?
Okay, I'll start with the positive changes. Like, I'm glad I'm experiencing moving out with another person. I feel like I'm a lot happier than I would be just moving out alone. I don't know.
It's hard, man. It's hard alone. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Just
Okay. Okay, I'm calm.
Yeah, no, you're cool. So what are you saying? It'll be funny looking back at this and you'll think about that moment.
It really will.
Yeah, so you go.
I mean, like, I'm just glad I get to share the experience with another person. Like, it's more interesting.
It's really a beautiful
somebody
thing.
I love. Like, it's anyway.
That's different than anything I've experienced. It's a good thing that me and my roommates had at White Hill. Like, it's just a good experience to go experience that for the first time, going on your own for the first time and having 4 friends with you.
Yeah.
Like, I've been living for the past 2 months alone, and that shit's hard, bro. Like, living alone is different. Can't imagine, especially the first time moving out.
So did that hit you like as soon as your roommate left, or is it just kind of like after a while being alone, a couple days, then it starts to feel?
It kind of happened over a couple days. It's like I don't have to like sort of hide my bad habits. You know what I mean? I could walk around naked with all the curtains open and not worry about my roommate, but it's a bad habit, you know? Because
why is that a bad habit?
and just everything, and just being, and just not coming home from an exhausting day of work and then not having anyone to talk to just adds to it.
I can see that, yeah.
But also when I have someone living with me, I also have a little bit of pressure to maintain like a normal human being. And then when I live alone, I can just be the disgusting animal I am. You know what I'm
Brings
saying?
out your true self.
No,
yeah.
exactly. That's why we need people
Yeah.
to keep us in check.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Right now, I definitely feel in check moving out with Lisa. It's just...
You have
know,
that person beside you that is like, whether it's you just being aware of your own habits and not wanting to present them and kind of being ashamed of them, and then they kind of go away, or it's just not doing them.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like if I moved out alone, I would be a lot more relaxed with things. Maybe I'd be having a dart in the living room, just like, you know, like, that's just an example. Not a very good example.
No,
but
for
yeah,
sure, but that's an example. That's a real example. That's not a fake example.
Yeah. But the first thing you asked was about the sleeping with another person.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring the...
Well, you said positive and negatives, so you're on some positives there.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it is a positive. You're like with your significant other, like...
Yeah.
But it's different than sleeping alone. Like, I had the same size of bed all to myself at my parents' house.
Yeah.
Just take all the space you want, and there's nobody getting up in the middle of the night, like, out of the bed. You don't feel the bed move unless you move the bed. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm having a hard time. Like, just, like, just movement and just...
When do you start feeling like a loser? When you're sleeping at your parents' house, like what age? I'm not saying you did, but what age
No,
does
I definitely
that...
didn't. So
No, exactly. So what age do you think that starts kicking in?
If you're pushing close to 30, if you're after 25 and you're getting up to 30, I feel like that's...
You need a bit of a reality.
You need to reevaluate kind of your life in general, and
No, I agree.
Well, you have to ask yourself some questions like, why am I still here? Is this benefiting me? Is it what I want even, like all that?
It is a strange... I don't know if it's just what they say or if it's actually true, but like people live with their parents longer now than they did in the previous generation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that statistic is very true. I don't know. It's probably to do with the cost of living as well.
You think so? Well, I'm about to pay $1,000 Canadian each to live in Toronto for school. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I just paid $7 for 6 peppers.
No, more than $1 per pepper.
Literally.
Dude. That's what it is. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not easy. I feel like it. I don't know. I didn't live in those times. I think it was easier in the sense of
who knows. But that's what I told my mom. She got defensive with me. I was like, your generation, the 80s and 80s and 90s were so peaceful. There was no war. You had great economic strength.
Yeah.
And the cost of living was balanced relatively. But now it's crazy. You look at the charts and look at like what... I don't know any specific numbers, so I don't want to, but back in the day, you see the percentage amount that food has gone up rather to wage. You know what I mean? The average wage is relatively still the same, but the food's almost doubled. The gas is almost doubled. Yeah. The electricity is almost doubled. Rent's almost doubled. So it's like it's borderline unsustainable. I don't know where we're gonna go from there. Because that's all we're doing. We're leeching off the past generation at this point.
That's exactly what's happening. Yep. I mean,
you know what's crazy though, bro?
What's that?
Okay, so I was watching. I told you I was watching a lot of live PD.
Yeah.
Yo, live PD is so fire. If anyone wants to waste a couple hours, go on YouTube, type in live PD, and watch some heroin busts. Just some cars pulled over, some meth pipes, some drunks. It's a fun time if you want to waste a couple hours. And I was watching like 9/11 conspiracies the other day.
Were you?
Bro, 9/11's crazy.
Oh, it is absolutely.
Do you remember the day?
Oh, I do. It was after my morning because I don't know. I was in kindergarten. I
we were young.
Yeah.
How old were we?
4.
No, we were 5. It's 2001, right? 96.
Okay, yeah. So
we were
5. 5.
Yeah, we were 5.
And another thing too, I have to add to this is I was going on my first plane as a 5-year-old.
Wait, was this a panic attack plane?
No, that was when I was a lot older.
Okay, I was gonna say a panic attack at 5 years old. That's scary. Bro.
Oh no, this was when I was 19, 18 actually.
You want to tell that panic story on a plane?
Do I want to tell him? I mean, yeah, sure. It was on the way back from Cuba. I was.
So what did it feel like going into a panic attack?
It felt like I had no idea. Like the whole reality just kind of changed. It shifted. I had no idea what was going on. I felt lightheaded. I was getting sort of dizzy, having a hard time catching my breath. But there was an exact trigger to this panic. It was the turbulence of the plane ride,
and scary,
so
dude.
I knew. So it wasn't as scary as because I know panic attacks can happen without that sort of direct trigger. So I feel like I knew why I was panicking. So that helped in a way, even
but
though
that's also your
it was
mindset.
traumatic.
That's also your mindset. That's
yeah.
also your coping mechanism. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I knew it was just, we're flying through a storm or whatever. It was windy. There was turbulence. Like I was aware of what was happening, but I still was panicking. I grabbed they have puke bags in front of you in the plane. I grabbed that.
4 or 5.
Oh, I mean, there wasn't that. They were kind of limited, actually. So if I had
if you had an accident.
Oh, it would have been probably all over the place. But I mean, I didn't puke. It felt, that's what kind of made me aware too, that I was just panicking, because I wasn't puking or anything. It just felt like I was physically going to puke. Like it was just, I was so scared. The feeling in my stomach too, and it never happened. And then I slowly calmed down, but I still was, the rest of the plane ride, I was on edge.
See, that's trippy, man. I don't know if I've ever had an experience like that. I have, I think, to like a smaller degree, but when I was younger. You know what I mean? I haven't had one in a while, but I've seen people who have experienced panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a trippy thing.
Was there any way? Was it? So I'm guessing the first time you saw this said person having a panic attack, it was the first time you've ever seen one in your life, so you probably didn't know how to react to it.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
it was a learning curve for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
You have to be patient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, in my experience, I don't know, it makes me feel like I sound like a bad person, sort of. But in my experience, I wasn't sure if there was validity to the experience. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sure if the person was just looking for attention or having an actual panic attack. And I probably should have approached the situation with more empathy. And that's what I learned from that experience.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, you could, in the moment, you don't always react the way you'd react if you actually had time to think about what, like, because if you've never seen somebody have a panic attack, you're not going to just react all calmly. You're not going to just,
who knows? The people do that for a living, right? Like, you get
Yeah.
educated on dealing with shit like that. So it's hard, but you need to, it happens a lot. That's the thing that makes me curious. It happens a lot. It's just, we live in a trippy time, man. We live in a trippy time. Suicides are at an all-time high. Anxiety's at an all-time high. Depression's at an all-time high. Who knows if that's just our population or if that's a reflection of our lifestyle.
I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, the population's growing. More people are going to have anxiety. More people are going to have all these problems. But I mean, I think it's not just that. Like, do you have any idea as to why these negative mental health issues are rising? Like, do you?
I have thoughts.
Yeah, just thoughts. Like, you don't know, but
I think we lack connection with each other. We lack family community. We lack the moments that you talk about having with your mother, and like I talk about having, like, those moments that we remember. You know what I mean? We lack that. We lack good friends. We lack loyalty.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. And who knows if that's because we live in this social media time and we're living digitally. But I just feel like that's what we lack. Like, we don't have a sense of community.
Yeah, that's definitely lacking. Just even, like, I was having that conversation with my dad a couple months ago. He was talking about how, like, 20, 30 years ago, if he was going for a walk down the street, most people would look at each other, make eye contact, wave and stuff, but that's really rare now, he was saying. And it's true.
Strange. That's strange to think about. That's in your dad's lifetime.
Yeah. So when you bring up that whole social media thing, and like, that could be a huge impact, and it's kind of disconnecting people. It's supposed to connect us, but
who knows what it is, right? Like, I don't know.
No, that's just an idea. And
who knows if we're just overpopulated and we have too many people around us.
Yeah.
Or we're eating shitty food, or, like, you know what I mean? What it could be anything. If maybe it's because we eat McDonald's every other day, and that just drains our, You know what I mean? Who knows,
It could
man?
be, yeah.
It could be anything. It could be the food. It could be medication. It could be birth control. It could be anything. But it's crazy to hear your dad say something like that and compare it to another time in his life.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like we hear that often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, he was just talking about the bus, too. Like, if he'd get on, like, he'd usually talk to the person sitting next to him. But now that's actually not... Most people on the bus, in Ottawa anyways, are on
Shout
their
out to
kind of...
Ottawa.
Fuck yeah, I love... Shout out to Ottawa. Yeah. Great place to grow up.
Incredibly lucky. Anyways, go on, sorry.
What was I saying? My dad...
Bus.
Yeah, my dad on the bus. He was just saying, like, before... He would be talking to the person next to him, but, like, now that's not... When I get on the bus, everyone's looking down at their phones, everyone's on their cells, which is just... Well, it's just the way it is now, but, I mean, it would be... nice if you could get on a bus and then just talk to just make conversation with the person. Like, you could the thing is, I feel like people are afraid to initiate that now because it's a rare thing too. Like, it's just
it is true.
So
and it's
now
strange.
it's like a weird thing to do. Oh, talk to a random person on the bus. But I think that
kind of
should,
strange.
But that should be a positive thing. It shouldn't be a negative, weird, creepy thing. Just to
You're
talk.
already talking to someone on the phone. You're already texting someone. You're already Facebook messaging someone.
And these
You're
people are right
retweeting someone.
in your direct like vicinity. Like, why not interact with them? I don't know how or if that will be brought back, but I mean, it's not. If I get on a bus, there's.
I don't know. I just think about, like, in war.
Yeah.
When people train for war, the first lesson is you have to dehumanize the enemy. You know what I mean? That's the only way you can kill someone without having empathy, without having PTSD, right? Like, this shit will fuck you up, but you have to dehumanize the person. And I feel like social media borderline dehumanizes us.
Okay.
You know what I'm
see where you're
saying?
going. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it dehumanizes us because we are only our online presence borderline.
Yeah.
People are getting hired for jobs for their online presence.
Yeah.
It's like a social credit, sort of. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I've never been into it, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad because people devote so much of their life to it. One second, I'm going to grab a beer. Be 2 seconds.
You grab it, wood. Might as well have the cider. Okay.
Anyways, enough talk about that. About that bullshit. I don't care. That's not in my life, dog. Check me in real life. Pull up. You know what I'm saying? Test my gangster.
Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying, dog. Gangsters move in silence, dog. I don't want followers. I'm finna do this on my own, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate everyone who listens to this podcast. You know what I'm saying? The followers. The followers of the white devil. So anyways, Jesse, what's going on in your life? And we didn't even introduce you. You're Jessie Erfle.
Yeah, I'm Jessie Erfle.
And we met each other. What was the first time we met each other?
The first time we met each other was working at work.
See, we are just the real Canadian story. That's why I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you mean by that? Sorry.
We were working at Harvey's, bro. Like, we're just a couple of kids.
Yeah.
And we're just normal people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In just this lost, mad world, bro. Anyways, go on. When did we meet each other?
Go on with what, dude?
When did we meet each other?
At Harvey's in the kitchen. I remember just briefly being introduced to you and basically being thrown on just like training.
Hey, you're training me, bro. Thanks, dude. Kid trains me, doesn't get paid for it.
No,
let that be known.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
We deserve $14 minimum wage at Harvey's, all right?
Yeah.
I worked my ass off. I'm not getting paid $11, even though I did for like 2 years.
Even though I did, yeah, that's the thing.
Steve's still alive, man. Yeah. He's still going. He's still pushing, man. That $14, maybe he couldn't buy a boat, all right?
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
That's okay.
But that's bad, because if you think about if he's actually looking to buy extra shit like that, which is understandable, but it's also like you have to think about the people working for you. There's obviously going to be limits and how much you can pay people, and
we're privileged.
Want to have good profit, but like
we're privileged. Think about it. It's hard it's hard to think about it because we get paid probably the most for minimum wage work out of anybody in the entire world. Think about it. Like, there's people in India that are working for like $3 an hour, $4 an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about. Yeah.
We're getting 14. We're probably the only place out of the 7 billion population planet that can do that. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible that I'm not bragging about it, but it's just crazy to think about.
No, yeah, for sure. If you feel privileged for it, it's proud, and like that's not
100%
necessarily bragging.
It's grateful.
Yeah.
It's being grateful. Anyway, so we were at Harvey's. Then when did we smoke weed for the first time? That's really the moment of bonding. You know what I mean?
I remember that actually. Yeah, it was about less than a week later. Like we met and we established right away that we lived on the same street. That was cool. That was a cool moment. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
So you just asked if I lived in the area, and I told you exactly where I live. You're like, holy, like me too. Like,
me too, bro.
Same small street. Yeah, like so. Then we ended up chilling like less than a week later. I remember going into your living room there, having a bowl. Had your roommates Luke and Chloe. Still remember Luke?
Lucas, yeah. Lucas. Shout out to Lucas and Chloe.
Shout out.
You guys were pretty gross, but shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
pretty gross. You know, that's a nice shout out.
Wait, shout out though. You guys are cool. I'd appreciate you guys. I'd like to see you guys before I leave to Toronto. Anyways, yeah. So we smoked weed in Whitehill for the first time. And then we just clicked, bro.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Maybe not right away, but like...
Honestly, it's hard to remember that.
It's hard to remember. Like, it didn't... We definitely clicked pretty soon. I just feel like the first time I went there, it was probably just, you know... I know we barely knew each other. It was just, you know, like a week, less than a week after.
A moment I remember.
Yeah.
I don't want to incriminate us.
Okay.
But we broke into my old house on Whitehill a couple of weeks after we moved out, and we sat on the roof and we chilled, and that was a really good moment.
It was.
We sat on the roof and we looked at the stars, bro. It was the gayest non-gay thing ever.
Yeah. It had that gay aspect to it.
100%.
Yeah. But it felt like the right thing to do, you know? You got to do some criminal activity.
Once in a while, dude.
Yeah.
But it was a good moment. It was fun.
Yeah, you shouldn't say don't mean to incriminate us, because...
It's kind of a red flag.
No, it's just like what we did, though, so...
It is what we did, all right? Yeah. No, fuck the system.
Yeah.
Anyways, so moving out. Speaking of moving out.
Moving cities. For you. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, no. I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to try to come up with something real quick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, moving cities. I'm moving to Toronto.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting time. I don't know if I definitely haven't. So, but it'll be an interesting time. I'm going to be doing a lot of podcasts with 40. 40 at Mazumba.
Mazumba?
He's from the Congo, bro.
And
he grew up.
How do you know him? Like, how did you meet him?
He came to Canada when he was 5, so he grew up in the Congo until he was 5, and then came to Canada. But you know how I worked at the podcast studio?
Yes,
I still work at the podcast studio, and he I would record his podcast sometimes. Like, he would be a client of the podcast studio, and I would be the engineer for him. So, but then I started talking on the podcast. I kind of became part of that podcast. You want to listen to that? It's the Inside Source. Dope podcast, funny guys. And we looked at each other one day after we were done recording, and it's like, I'm going to Humbert. I was like, oh, bro, me too. And then we decided that we were going to get a room together.
That's sick.
Yeah, we're going to do podcasts all day, all night, bro.
All day, all night.
We're going to start a media revolution, dude.
Right on. That's
create the greatest content. So you're not excited to go back to school, eh?
I wouldn't say not excited. I'm just not as excited as I wish I was. Because, I mean, when I started this program almost 2 years ago now, I was really excited and I enjoyed the whole first year. Everything went great. And then second year, first semester, I was enjoying it as well. There's a couple of courses that were kind of dry compared to the first year. But then the whole strike thing college strike just messed me up, and I feel like that break in between dropping out because of that and now has kind of lost motivation for that.
Made me lag.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I'm definitely not dreading going back to school.
Yeah.
But I'm just not as pumped as I should be.
Super motivated.
You know, like,
it is what it is.
I know, yeah.
You get in those moods, you get in those atmospheres. But you're going to be living a different life now that you're in a different house.
Yes.
It's going to be trippy, bro. How does it feel not having a car?
It's...
Do you feel like you're going to get molested at night?
I haven't had that thought.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Do you?
Maybe I'm a little bitch, though.
Maybe, because, like, I haven't...
But I always think that
I just find it's less convenient, because I always could just take one of my parents' cars when I was at home. I could just... So it's just like, I took that for... And I shouldn't say I took it for granted, but you know what? Yeah, no, I should say that. I did. And now it's just, take the bus, bike, walk. It's... don't want to say limited, because it's not like we live in a huge city, but it's different.
It's definitely different. What are some things in life you took for granted?
Okay.
Yeah, I need to think about this one too.
Yeah.
Because it's an interesting thought. I don't know, man. Is it bad if I feel like I take everything for granted?
I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds bad, but I mean...
It does sound bad.
But I think the average person does take everything for granted. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example
You're right.
if something
you're right.
just
That's
disappears. I'm trying to think of a good example that if we just lost right now. Like, what if you lost something right now?
Yeah.
What would not devastate you, but like what would be the most uncomfortable?
Well, even just thinking about it now, it's not like if I lost something right now, but I took for granted having a roommate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having that person there that I could come and talk to and reflect off of.
Yeah.
When it's not there, it's kind of strange. You know what I mean? So I definitely took that for granted. But what would I?
I kind of feel that. I just thought of moving out. Now there's not the parent figure, kind of, not my mom or dad there to just go ask a question or.
If you hear that, that's the city of Ottawa. Yeah. So we have the window open. It's a casual Wednesday night. We're chilling. Yeah. I'm just letting you all know.
The months of, I don't know what, March or April to October is just all construction in Ottawa.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, what were you saying?
I don't know.
You're talking about taking for granted you're like moving out.
Oh, just having someone there to talk to, like you were saying too. Yeah. Just like ask a question or share my thought at that exact moment. And when there's no one there, it's kind of like, I don't know, you kind of just move on with your thoughts, but there's no one there to share it with. And it's different.
It totally is different. It makes me question if we're doing it right or not. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a lot of glass. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Someone broke a window. Anyway,
back there noises, yeah.
But I think about other not religion, but other cultures about how close they keep their family. We were just talking about not being connected, and like I feel like that's one of the major issues we have to. One of the major relevant issues we have today is not being connected, and it's like, is living alone really healthy? You know what I mean? Like, why not have your family there for the whole time? Why not be around the people you love every step of the way? Because I know there's a lot of other cultures that have their entire family in their house.
Yeah, you're very right about that. I don't think I could. We'll see where life takes me, obviously.
Yeah,
but
I would hate it, though, too.
I don't think I could live completely alone. It would be kind of lonely.
I feel like you get there eventually. I feel like I could do it now.
Okay.
I feel like I could do it. You get there eventually.
Well,
it just takes some time.
Maybe I didn't word it exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I could do it.
It's hard, though, man. It's a scary thought. It's intimidating. That's what it is. It's intimidating. But, yeah, I take for granted. It gets sad when you think about taking for granted. You're being really honest with yourself.
It's good, though. It's good.
It is, I guess. I take for granted. I've really been bad lately. I don't know. I don't want to say bad, but my grandma, she went to the hospital a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And she has dementia, and she had a moment, I guess. So she's in like an old folks home now, and I haven't gone to visit her yet. Been a few weeks, and that's something I take for granted. Having her there, having her ability to share her stories with me and just be there and appreciate how much she loves me, because she loves me a lot. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be super honest, and I got to put that out there, you know what I mean? I got to be accountable for it, but that's real.
It's definitely real. Do you want to go visit her in the next?
I think about it every day. I'm going on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. That'll be good.
100%. But it's just those moments you have to think about that in life. You have to be like, what moments matter right now at this time? Don't always be thinking about the future. You know what I mean? What matters right now, because you might miss it. I want to do.
I guess then you know what? If you put it that way, I'm sure this might sound absolutely horrible. I hope it doesn't, but like,
no, it's all.
It's just like, I guess I take it for granted just being in a relationship, like this long of a relationship. Like, it's just always been there for the past 4 or 5 years. I really appreciate her and I love her to death, but it's just, I feel like it's kind of something that you just have settled, comfortable.
You get used to.
You're just used to it. It's just like she's there.
But like, life is all about like reminding yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's a part of life, is being like, okay, I am taking this for granted possibly, so I need to put action on that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought, and I bet I've never been in a relationship that long, but I definitely feel like I take for granted things very, very quickly. You know what I mean? I feel like I move on fast. I feel like I take for granted this day. You know what I mean? I feel like because
really,
because I didn't do what I feel like I could do. I didn't live to my potential. And every time I don't live to my potential, I feel like that's me not being grateful for the situation I'm in.
I mean, I feel like that's a bit extreme, though. You can live day to day and not live
you're
to
right.
what you could be possibly capable of doing. You gotta have relaxing days, and
it is a bit extreme, but is it extreme in the society we live in? That's my thought.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like I need to play the game, and the game is to work hard. You know what I mean? That's the game. The game's to work hard. And I feel like I need to do that every day, and I feel like I can do that. But when I don't, I feel like I don't live up to my potential. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe I should keep that thought, but take away the consequence, because the consequence is unnecessary.
Yeah. I guess you gotta to ask yourself, why do you want to work hard?
That's a good question. And I was working hard just to work hard before, because I thought that's just what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just work hard, and it was partially probably because of my father, partially probably because of society. You know what I mean? I always want to make sure I'm working hard and make sure my father knows that I'm working hard. You know what I mean? That's probably not okay. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, I probably shouldn't have that, but that's real. And I admit that. But I need to think about the rewards more, because that's why I felt burnt out the past couple months. It's like I wasn't thinking about the rewards. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was just thinking about that moment and working in that moment. And I got exhausted of that. There was no goals, and that's the only way I feel like I can live, is with goals, is with having something that I'm going to push forward to go get. Other than that, I'm drained. I'm not looking forward to more. I'm not excited for anything.
Okay. I mean, I definitely, in a way, feel the same sort of thing. I go to work at the same job 5 days a week and just...
You're a grinder. You grind. You do what you gotta do.
It's just...
But there's people with different lives, too. We live different lives, and we have different thoughts.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. People are different. Everybody's different.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like... And I envy that. I envy your willingness to have balance in your life, because that's what I need to bring to mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's important, especially because it's about living a healthy life. That's what I've learned. I just want to be healthy. And I honestly don't want to put anything else in front of that.
Yeah. That's something I think I need to focus on. It's being physically healthy. I feel my state of mind is good.
As we're smoking cigarettes, let's just put that in the air. We're being so honest right here, so let's add to the honesty.
Oh, yeah, I definitely want to quit these fucking cigarettes. It's just...
Who doesn't?
I don't know. Maybe I take cigarettes for granted.
But that's the thing. That's like honestly, yeah, but honestly, you take life for granted. You could die.
For granted, yeah, exactly.
You could die with this. You could die for this little bit of satisfaction now, and not have that satisfaction when you're 85 years old and you're healthy and you're with your grandchildren.
Yeah, you're very right about that.
And that's real. But I don't think you should... What I've learned is I don't think you should dread over that. You shouldn't keep Definitely yourself in that. You shouldn't self-loathe in that. And that's when it gets dangerous. But you should remind yourself
you're less likely to quit something like cigarettes if you're going to self-loathe. If you're just going to be your entire time smoking, be like, oh, this is terrible for me. This is...
I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm such a retard. Like, I just spent $12 on a pack of cigarettes for what?
That's just going to keep going if those are your thoughts. I think so. Even 100%. Though that might sound weird to some people out there.
But it only takes more energy to talk to yourself like that.
Yeah.
It only takes more energy. If you it's just treating yourself. That's something I've definitely learned over the past 2 months. We're talking about being connected with other people. You got to be connected with yourself. You got to treat yourself the way you treat other people. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of people's issues nowadays. People are really harsh critics of themselves. And I fall victim to that. And you need to treat yourself with respect. Yeah. You need to look in the mirror and say, no, you're not a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Sometimes you do, and sometimes you need to be humble, but that shouldn't be the self-talk you have. Self-talk is so important. You know what, though?
There's a huge difference between being humble and calling yourself an idiot. Like...
You're right. That's a good point to make. Maybe I should separate that self.
Just calling yourself an idiot isn't being humble. Like, even if you did an idiotic thing, if you're actually going to, like, stress over it for a while and be like, I was such an idiot for that, I don't necessarily think that's a good positive thing to be doing. I think that if anything, you got to make things into a learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
You
I
do
agree.
negative things. Like, yeah, it's gonna happen.
I just
live and learn, repeat.
I just did that monologue I was talking about for the podcast because I haven't been present, and that's exactly what I said. It's the exact words. Who cares, bro? You got you got to live and learn, and it's like you go through these ups and downs, and you just have to turn them into positives. You just have to turn them into positives. That's it. And if you need help doing that, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's another important thing I learned. If you need help, get it, because you gotta, if you feel the need that you really need someone and your pride or your fear is taking over, or you're embarrassed because you spent a bunch of money on cocaine and you can't go tell your parents because you're afraid that they're going to get mad at you. Go do it. Face that fear and be like, yo, I need help.
Yeah.
And put your pride aside. And it's hard. That's something I've definitely learned. I need to put my pride aside. I'm totally going to go. I'm going to set it up this month. I'm going to go talk to a therapist.
Okay.
Have you ever talked to one?
No, not any sort of professional.
Got the hiccups, bro.
No, I'm perfectly good. Perfectly good. I hope not. If they start going though, I apologize.
Oh, it's all good.
In advance, but I think it'll be okay. No, I haven't talked to a therapist. I considered it before,
Yeah.
but it never happened.
I think it's important. I think it's I always feel like I can figure it out on my own. That's a good attitude to have, but you need to understand that you really need to listen to other people. Like, that's almost the most important thing, is make sure you have these other messages coming in, because once you start talking to yourself, shit can get scary sometimes. You know what I mean?
You get into a dark, scary place, my friend. Dark, scary place.
Anyways, do you have anything else to say?
I mean, not really. I think we've pretty much covered.
We've pretty much covered all the dark and scary
dark
places.
and scary, dark places.